way is not clear. The stakes are high, and success is not guaranteed. We call a project difficult because there's a significant gap between where we are and where we need to be. And it is the job of the logo designer to survey the gap, understand it, and build a bridge so the client, designer, and audience can all get to the other side together. I've been working as an idea sherpa for most of my adult life, helping clients get their ideas across the finish line. And over the years, some of those projects really stick with you. Maybe because you learned something, or you feel fear, or mostly because it was a wild ride, a story worth retelling. Delaware is very small. You could drive the length of the whole thing in 2 or 3 hours, depending on if it's tourist season or not. And Dewey Beach is even smaller, which makes the odds of this story happening feel fantastic. But I can assure you, this is all quite real. Austin Garrett reaches out about rebranding their student ministry, Crossing Students. We have a mood meeting to establish direction for the project, and in the meeting, I learn about these incredible local landmarks. There's these 2 towers left over from World War II on the beach. Additionally, beach culture is huge. Their kids love being on the beach, playing outside. This is a great local tie-in. Everybody's stoked. We begin work on the brand package. 2 weeks later, Josh Bell calls to talk about their logo for Solid Ground Church, which is located 7 minutes away. We have a mood meeting to establish direction for the project, and in the meeting, Josh and his team bring up these 2 towers left over from World War II on the beach. And in the name of transparency, I bring up that the Crossing crew has already placed dibs on that landmark. I felt responsible to make sure that everybody's marks felt distinct, and I suggested we figure out another visual to build around. They entertained the idea, but the Solid Ground crew have fallen in love with the tower concepts. 17 stressful phone calls later, here's where we land. Everybody loves the towers, and if we can make them feel distinct enough, everybody wins. The Crossing Student stuff needs to feel raw and fun and beachy, and the letters actually fit super nicely into the towers, and this was an idea that came out in the mood meeting. We kind of tooled around with it, and then we create some secondary elements to match and play in and around that same space. And this is a pretty common one where we figure out the main ingredients, and then we want to build other pieces, kind of explore the neighborhood, so to speak. The Solid Ground Church, like most main church logos, needs to cast a little bit of a wider net and serve a larger community. Often, this translates into a cleaner and more corporate style. And for the actual construction of the mark, it would have actually been really easy to lean into the same concept of putting the S and the G inside of the tower, but I knew for obvious reasons we couldn't do that. And so the sketches came out, we worked through a ton of other ideas, and ultimately landed on this. To this day, I'm super proud of both of these projects. They were both tough to pull off in their own right, and we had to design each one with the other one in mind. In a final delightful twist to the story, I learned just this week that after the logo projects, the 2 churches started collaborating on some community-wide youth events. I recently learned a new word, aphantasia. This word describes people who cannot voluntarily create pictures in their mind. This blew my mind and also unraveled a great mystery that perhaps should have been more obvious sooner. Every person in the room is literally seeing something different, especially in the early ideation portion of a project. Every 20 projects or so, I have a client who is just unable to articulate what they want. They make an honest-to-goodness attempt at doing the homework. We have the meetings, all the tricks and approaches that I've learned over the years, drawing these ideas out of the client, just aren't working. And this is not an indictment on them as a client, but sometimes all the tricks fail and the mental connection is tough. That's particularly scary when the person at the other end of the Zoom video is Manny Arrango. Manny is sharp, he's talented, he's an incredible speaker, he's a hard worker who's built something special, and he's amassed quite a following. And at this stage in my logo designer journey, I've worked out of some tough jams. I'm confident, I'm capable, the process works, I have tools to get through, but not enough for this one. So after burning through almost all of our time in the mood meeting, Manny is unhappy. I don't love anything that I'm seeing. I'm sweating. I don't know what to do. I need to leave this meeting with something, some kind of direction or a thread or a piece of an idea to go chase. And a thread is exactly what we got. I don't know what it is, but this photo is the brand. Now, I had never done it this way before, and I haven't done it this way since, but I cling to this thread, this one single image to go build the brand. It needs to feel smart, but also cool and also disruptive, just like Manny, theologian meets sneakerhead. So I went back to the source, the original printer for the Bible, the Gutenberg press. We took the black letter A from the movable typeset as our base, then finished with a slick sans serif for the rest of the word mark to mash up the theological roots with the modern expression, and as a bonus, we subtracted out the bookmark for a fun visual Easter egg. We carried this old world modern remix throughout the rest of the brand elements, along with some messy kind of note taker vibes, like really taking the stuff apart, thinking through it. And I'm typically not a Hail Mary player, but this day demanded a Hail Mary. There were no timeouts, seconds left on the clock. Touchdown, baby. 7 years ago this month, I'm sitting at my desk, tucked away in the corner of our living room at our old home. Everything is ready. The business plan, the strategy to go chase down new business, the website, initial pricing models, everything except the logo. I tried and tried and tried, and I couldn't come up with anything good enough. I kept trying to microwave solutions, and logos require preparation and forethought, time to marinate. I, of all people, should have known this. The danger is short-circuiting the process. No one respects the work, including the designer. So you try to kind of guess your way to success, you dabble, you ask some friends, and then you either give up or do what I did, call it good enough to launch. After many failed attempts, I decided to just type out the name in Sophia and go live with the website. A week or two later, I had a star. To this day, I am unhappy with this logo. But at this point, it's got enough brand equity that I am hesitant to change it. Plus, cobbler's children aren't supposed to have shoes. The humiliation begins with an unorthodox meeting request. At this time, I'm working for a digital advertising agency, and Brightcoal wasn't even on my radar. At this agency, we do a lot of types of works for clients near and far. And this client happened to be near, and they asked me to meet them around lunchtime at O'Charlie's. I walk in with my laptop and immediately realize that although we are in a dining establishment, I would not be eating. Their dirty dishes and empty drinks were piled on the table. I pull up a chair, and things quickly go from bad to worse. They dismiss the concepts I brought in and immediately descend into hyperfixation on the anatomical accuracy and placement of the tooth in the head. I'm pushing pixels around as they are talking around me. My suggestions or ideas fall on deaf ears. A more dignified designer would have closed the laptop and walked out, but I am both young and a sucker. The logo we land on is absurd. It doesn't scale, it looks ridiculous, and it doesn't mean anything to anyone but the surgeons and their peers. My stomach is growling. I am beyond frustrated by the whole ordeal, but something beautiful happens that day. A seed was planted that wouldn't fully germinate for years. You can design logos with clients. Today, I do this in almost every single mood meeting with clients. Everyone in the room is able to quickly shorten the gap between all of our telepathic links. We're all seeing the dream come to life in real time. The feeling is truly electric, and while it can be a little unnerving as you're sitting there and 8+ people are watching you design something on screen, it's also really freeing. For everybody in the room, everybody's guard comes down, and we're all able to sit around the same side of the table and make some great decisions together. I'm sure there's some harder projects that I've blocked out of my mind, but these 4 played a pivotal role in shaping the way that I think about the relationship between dreams and clients and the logo design process. And if you'd like to see your wildest dreams come true live on screen, I'd love to make it happen. Schedule a call at brightcold.com.